Thank you for watching today and thank you for coming. I'm so excited, as always, to be here with you on Wellness Wednesday. And if you're here with me joining, as you join, let me know where you're joining me from and let me know if you're present and or if you're reaching out and listening to the replay. So do hashtag replay when you start listening, so that I know that you're there and I can communicate with you. I love my listeners, I love the comments, and I always love to connect with you. And today, the topic I chose is resistance. And why is resistance? Because I've been feeling a lot of resistance and I was trying to figure out what it means and what is it teaching me. So in learning about myself, I am here to teach you what I'm learning, to help you and inspire you to take action and maybe to have some insights for you to feel better, for you to live a better life, to take the actions that you need to take. Because what is life if we are not happy, if we don't feel love, and if we are not enjoying ourselves, right? What would be life without the joy? But we're having some resistance. So resistance for me is like being in a war with ourselves. So sometimes we feel that everything is happening outside is a war. Like right now there's a war, right? But we can choose how to see that, or if we choose to accept that. But in fighting that war, or fighting that war inside ourselves, a lot of times we are in fear of that, of confronting that war. So that causes a lot of pain. And that also causes turbulence and fear about what comes next. So what is it that you're resisting right now? Write in the comments. Is there anything that you're resisting? Is there anything that you really want in life? Is it more love? Is it more health? Is it more joy? Is it more productivity? Is it more connection with your family and loved ones? What is it? Write down on the comments. What is it that you're resisting, so that you start knowing and understanding why that resistance is there for you. So resistance is just a teacher. It's just letting you know what is happening in the moment to get to the next step. So what I like to say, and that leads me to what I wanted to say, struggles only mean that we are being stretched out of our comfort zone. The ego or the body likes to be comfortable and cozy and wrapped up in a blanket and not having trouble. When we're having trouble, then the ego turns his back and says, no, that's too scary. That's something new that I'm not aware of, that I don't know how to handle it. So I better hide, or put a blanket, or just turn around in the bed and just be comfortable. So I've been noticing this week that I have several things for me showing up for me to you right now, are growing my business and taking action into the next steps. I feel there is some resistance. I want to grow. I want to show up for myself. I want to expand my knowledge to everyone out there, to you right now. But there is certain steps that we have to grow. It's a growing pains, not for any reason. There are our growing pains. So a child, for example, is not thinking about, oh, when is the next time I'm going to fall? So I can think about the pain that I'm going to have when I fall. So I better not even start trying to walk. Right? Is a child thinking like that? No. So why do we? Because we have learned a pattern. We have learned to fear and make stories about the future. So in order to create this recording or this training today, I looked up and I Googled the meaning of resistance. And in electricity, resistance means it's a measure of opposition to current flow in the electrical circuit. So it's the opposite of going with the flow of the electricity. In psychology or psychoanalysis, resistance means oppositional behavior when the individual's unconscious defenses of the ego are threatened by an external source. So what does that mean? That there is something outside that is unprotected, that we fear, that we do not know how to handle. So there is fear and there is resistance to know what it could be. So instead of taking the action that maybe you're trying to get healthier and eat better, maybe you're trying to go work out, maybe you're wanting to apply for a new job, or maybe you want to start to find a partner, maybe you want to get married. Whatever your step is in life right now, there is resistance to get to the next step. And instead of feeling the fear, you can be in the resistance and try to understand it. And that will help you feel better with it. So what do I mean? And I want to set some examples of when you do that internal work, when you stop and recognize what you're feeling and why are you resisting what you're resisting, and what does that mean for you. It will not mean anything for anybody else. So if you try to explain it to your spouse while you're resisting it, he might not understand. But when you do the internal work, you get it. It's like, oh, I get why this is happening. So when it comes to the surface, for me, for example, it has been very difficult to have hard conversations, deep conversations, when you really want to talk about something that is very meaningful, but you don't know, for me, I don't want to hurt feelings of others. So I don't know how the other person is going to react. So I resist that, because what if, in my mind, I feel, what if he's going to get angry? What if I fail? What if it is just going to break everything? So I better stay in my comfort zone and shy and belittle myself instead of taking the action that can actually get better, right? And that's what I've noticed in my clients and myself. And sometimes when you finally decide to take the action, you notice, and maybe you have noticed as well, so write down in the comments if you have noticed, when you finally take the action that you were resisting, and you notice that, oh, it was not so bad, and actually it turned out really well. So the next time you have some resistance to something, and I'll walk you through some of the steps at the end of this training, but at the end, it's like when you take the action and you feel better later, then it's like, oh, it's kind of starting to train your brain to take the action more often and recognize. So this week also, or this past weeks, I recognized a big mistake that I made, and that was my husband had given me a big amount of money to pay to a bank account, and I was sure that I was making that payment for a special bank account. And just a few weeks ago, I received a notice that the money was not there. It's like start shocking up, and then I needed to call someone to figure it out. Well, I left that letter like for 2 days on my desk, and I was just resisting it, like, oh my gosh, this is gonna be so bad. But at the same time, I caught myself thinking this is gonna be so bad. I said, no, don't go there. You know that that is not the right thinking. So I just trusted it, like, okay, I wrote it in my calendar. I'm gonna call on Monday. It's no way, it was Friday evening, so I could not do anything from Friday, Saturday, and Sunday anyway. If I would have chosen to worry about that letter for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, guess what? I would have not slept for 3 days. I would have felt so lousy, so drained to start my week. Instead, what I decided, like, okay, I'll take care of it when I am able to take care of it. Right now, I cannot do anything about it. So I left it there. I wrote it in my calendar. Okay, Monday at certain time, I'm gonna call. As I was calling, I was like, okay, let's see how this goes. So what was my next step? When I started the conversation, I explained to the lady exactly what had happened. Instead of faking it, I became true. I talked about the truth. And I said, hey, I thought I had paid to a certain account, but I paid to another account. I spoke with the truth. And there is a saying that says that truth will set you free. Many times we resist to talk about the truth because we don't know what the result is going to be. But guess what happened? After explaining the situation, she said, oh, well, I can look into it. And if it's the same bank, but it's just a different account, maybe we can pull that amount out of that account and put it back in the right place. Bingo. I said, okay, this is beautiful. Thank you. So if I would have taken more days to figure this out, or I would have not slept for 3 days, then I would have been miserable, and maybe the phone call wouldn't have been with that energy and that flow and ease. So it gave me, and I thanked her because I said, thank you because you gave me a peace of mind. Now I can continue with my day. How many days are you troubled about something that is troubling you? You're not taking the action, and it's just draining your days all the way. So I really wanted to share this example because I feel that this is something that is especially on women's heads, and maybe everyone, but I can only speak about women, and that things are troubling us and we don't know what and how to do and how to tackle that, and it's just draining our life. And I don't want for that to happen to you anymore. I want you to have the tools so that you know and recognize and keep moving, because you have something to bring to this world. So I want you to feel amazing every day so that you understand yourself, have the best relationship with yourself, and that you know what action to take next. And if this is resonating with you, just say #resonating. I would love to hear that you are here with me. I cannot see the messages right now. So this is another example. And I like telling stories because I think that we connect through stories. And another example this week was I also have a rental home, and the tenant all of a sudden said, well, I'm leaving. And I said, okay, what am I going to do now? Where is the next tenant going to come? I could choose to worry about it, or I could just trust and say, just fill it with love and say, well, the next one will be even better than the last tenant. And then gave it to my realtor, and I said, okay, I trust that it will come. Well, guess what? I'm going to be without a tenant only for 5 days. He's leaving on the 31st, and the new one is coming in on the 5th. So that's another thing. It's like when you start trusting and taking the right actions, your life starts kind of starting to flow. So again, maybe you're trying to get healthier. Maybe you're trying to eat healthier. Maybe you're trying to have a better relationship. It starts with you. When you start creating a better relationship with yourself and you understand your patterns, you understand the way you're thinking and why you're doing the things that you're doing. It's not about a diet. It's not about follow a program in a specific way. It's about understanding your relationship with you. And that is what my coaching program helps you with. Understanding the relationship that you're having with yourself and creating an awareness little by little so that you can be more of you. So going back to how do we start trusting and stop the resistance? Have you noticed that when you're feeling something or doing something that you enjoy, your brain becomes more open and you start having some insights or impulses or ideas of things? It has happened to me lately every single day. The more I release resistance and allow for the life to happen, the more impulses I notice in my body, like the creation of this training. It was something that happened from yesterday to today. And I like to be in that flow, in that state of, okay, what is the message that I'm receiving that I need to send to you? Because we're all on this together. What I'm feeling, maybe you're feeling a part of that too. So I want to share that because the universe is in need for leaving that resistance and going with the flow so that we can live in a more peaceful world. So in having this I was talking about the impulses. So yesterday I needed to do something. I was feeling some resistance towards the program that I'm creating and putting it in my website. So I felt an impulse that I needed to go for a walk. So I could have resisted going for the walk because it would have probably been a distraction, but sometimes we need that distraction, or actually our body needs that relaxation so that we can go and get in the flow again. We can connect to that energy. So I followed that impulse and I just went for a walk. And then I still felt some resistance, so I felt an impulse that I needed to call my mom. So I did call my mom. And when I did, it's like, okay, I kind of I aligned with what I was needing. And then I sat down and for 2 hours I was able to work. So again, when you have those impulses to do something in a position that you want to do, but something is calling you, maybe start noticing it like, okay, maybe if I address this first, I will be able to have the energy to come back to what I really need to do. Many times we feel that we are not allowed to do this because we have to do this first. Well, sometimes if you bend your arm and start doing the thing that is the impulse that you're having first, then you will have the energy to do that second thing. So I've been very blessed because since I started my personal growth, I've been receiving the books and reading the books that I need to get me to the next step. So resistance is only the friction that is happening so that is stretching us to the next step in our growth. And that's all it is. So accept it as growth, and then you will see it so much more beautiful that you will understand it, accept it, and be able to go through it. So create those breakthroughs. So resistance is like, for example, you're climbing a mountain, and it's a little bit more steeper, so you have to work harder to get there. But then it's gonna be then there's gonna be a flat part, and you're gonna get to rest. And then again, it will be a steep part to get to the top. So we cannot just go all the way straight to the top. We would be exhausted and we'll die, right? So we need to go with that. So the resistance is only a part of it to start growing and learning. So how do we do with this? When we're resisting something, just take a breath and notice, okay, notice, what is it in me that I'm resisting? What is it that I fear? Or what is it I fear that I will fail? Or am I fearing that I will be ridiculed? Or is it just laziness? What is it? Try to understand it. Become aware of it. So awareness is number one, and just questioning it so that you learn about it. And then once you think, for example, you understand, okay, this is a stretch time, right? I'm resisting something because I'm about to learn what's the next step. So I'm resisting that friction. So now that you know that is stretching you, how do you overcome that? So what I ask myself is, how will I feel once I've accomplished that task that I need to do right now? That simple action that I need to take, that I'm resisting so much. How will I feel when I have accomplished that? When you ask that question, it's like magic. You all of a sudden have that energy that is like, oh, I will feel so good. I will feel accomplished. I will feel that greatness as fulfillment, right? And then you have a shift of energy just with that question. Notice that it didn't take 3 days, right? It took a minute. Just by asking that question, your energy shifts. And that is the type of energy that I want you to be aware of. Not the energy that you're energized all day to do a lot of things. No, it's the energy that comes from the soul, the heart, the emotion, to drive you in the right direction, to drive your life, to live the best quality of life. It's all about those little actions. So when you are able to feel that that energy shift and just become aware of the emotions that you will have when you have accomplished that. When you use those emotions of something like it's already been experienced, then it becomes easier to take the action. So let me share with you, all these things help us become true to ourselves. What has the most resistance is that we have been separated from ourselves and we are all kind of scattered away. We don't know how to start. So there's a very simple action and thing that you can do to start taking the action towards yourself, and that is called love. When you love every action, every resistance, everything that you're doing in the day that is causing a little bit of trouble, and also the things that you love, then just love it more. Love the resistance because it's your teacher. Love the resistance because it's gonna give you a stretch for you to grow to the next level. And again, I'm gonna give you five steps, but first I want to say, what you resist persists. You're resisting to allow love to come. But how do we get there? With love. So love helps get everything resolved. Is a resolution for everything. So we need to start learning about how to bring in a little bit more love. So awareness, as I said, is number one. Become aware of what is happening in you that is causing the resistance. Then realize, okay, what is it meaning for me right now? Become clear of where to focus, that you know now that you can focus on love, and then have a clear your distractions. Maybe journal, maybe create a little space of, okay, a time for yourself to write down 2 or 3 things that you're resisting so that you become clear of what is your next step. And then notice is like, okay, what is the goal that I'm trying to achieve? What is my motivation? Why do I want to achieve this, whatever it is? And then just start, like Nike brand says, right? Just action, just start. What if just starting gets you to the next level faster? So for me, in this case, as a health and wellness coach, and help you become a better feeling woman, if this is something that resonates with you, if you want to learn more about how to take the actions to bring in more love, to bring in more better feelings for yourself and connect to yourself and have better health, like balance your hormones and get all the little pieces back together so that you can feel great, then schedule a time to talk with me. But in the meantime, I want you to take action into discovering that for yourself. And the only one that knows where to take the action is you. It's like you have the impulse to make a call with me, then do it. And you decide if you can decide to take the action or to not take the action. But the more we resist on taking the right action to guide us to our growth, the more we pinch out of the joy of life. Thank you so much for watching today. I hope this was insightful for you. I hope that you have a great day, and I look forward to talking with you in the near future. Write down at the end of this conversation, I would want to know what are you taking away from this conversation. Hopefully this was good for you, and it's for me a love from me to you to shine a light in you for a little inspiration, motivation, and from our heart to yours. I love you. Talk to you soon. Bye bye.